Hi, I'm Kesenya and welcome to Astrology. I am your astrology weather girl and here with today's weather, or this week's rather, weather report, and we have a wonderful lot of astrological weather brewing up for us this week. So get ready to enjoy. But before I get stuck into each sign and what's happening for each sign, and before I get stuck into the general weather forecast, it's important that I point out, I wanted to share that Lada and I had a great interview on the weekend about predictive techniques and the predictive techniques that we use and what works, and I gave some illustrations of what has worked in my life and some really interesting things that have come to pass, some predictions that have come to pass. So if you're interested in being able to look at your chart and make an informed decision about, oh, looks like I'm in for a big year of change ahead, or something's on the horizon, I can feel it coming, or what's going on in my chart, if you want to know some tricks and tips to be able to do that and do that well, then by all means check out that video that Lada and I did. It'll be in her video playlists, all about predictive techniques and the top predictive techniques that I tend to look for and utilize in my chart readings. So check it out. In alignment with that video, I'm also offering a special this week, for the next week or so, on a one question reading where you can ask whatever you want and I'll look at what the skies have to say about that in your life. It's a one question reading. It's a 20 to 30 minute reading. It's usually around $75 and now it's discounted to $65 just for the week. So if you would like an answer to one particular pertinent question that's been niggling in the back of your mind, you know, why is this happening to me, or how can I do this or that or the other, then jump on my readers page on Astrology, place your order, and we'll take a look at what the stars have to say for you. So what do the stars have to say for us all this week? Well, it's all about Jupiter this week. Jupiter, Jupiter, Jupiter. And that is why I'm wearing my orange scarf, because orange is one of the colors of Jupiter. It's a color of prosperity and abundance. People would often think that it's associated with the sun, but gold is actually the color of the sun. Jupiter correlates to the color orange and also the color purple. Jupiter, I'm also wearing my Jupiter bracelets as well. Lapis lazuli and malachite bracelets have the qualities and energy of growth and prosperity and abundance that Jupiter carries as well. So I'm wearing my bracelets to just channel more Jupiter. Who can get enough of it? Let's just have more Jupiter in our lives. So what is happening this week that made me go all Jupiterian on you all? Well, this week Jupiter goes direct. This is the big energy that's playing out in the sky this week. This will happen on the 12th of August. So yay, bring it on. We're all hanging for this one. I know I am, especially those of us who are ruled by Jupiter in our chart. That's anyone with a Pisces rising or a Sagittarius rising. For those of us who have that, this is a great week for us to see Jupiter going direct, but it will be a great week for everybody. So here is Jupiter. I might just take my little doodaddy off there. And Jupiter is around here, high in the sky, in the sign of Sagittarius. He's been the cause of a lot of people going traveling this year overseas, because Sagittarius is representative of other cultures, other belief systems, other expansive ways of doing things, and we do that by traveling, by immersing ourselves in other cultures and belief systems and seeing how other people do it. And so Jupiter in this sign has caused there to be a lot of international travel this year, which is fascinating. But here is Jupiter, yeah, up here in Sagittarius. What is this going to mean for us all? He's been going retrograde for quite some time now, and he's about to, yay, turn direct and start moving forward again. So can you feel things building? I want to ask you, have you been feeling like something is about to shift? You're on the brink. It's like Christmas Eve, you know something's coming. You know Santa Claus is bringing you those presents, and I just can't sleep. I can't wait. When is it going to happen? You know, keeping one eye open. When's Santa coming in? It's like that energy, you know. We're feeling this build towards a turnaround, towards a shift, towards something special coming. Especially those of us who have rulership of Jupiter, or Jupiter strong in the chart as well. Jupiter conjunct with the moon, the sun, or on the ascendant. These people are going to be really feeling the intensity of Jupiter at the moment in their lives. This anticipation, this knowing that some big shift, some sort of blessing is about to arrive. So wherever Jupiter falls is where we're going to feel that change most of all of us. So I will talk about that towards the end of this video when we break it down into all the 12 signs. Now, we're going to explore what effects this shift in momentum will bring. But firstly, let's take a look at what it means to have Jupiter retrograde. When a planet goes retrograde, it focuses the energy internally within us rather than externally, and that's in the natal chart as well as in transit as well. So Jupiter here, he has been focusing his energy internally. Jupiter retro is actually the easiest of all retrograde planets to deal with. His retrograde motion, it's not like Mercury where everything goes wrong and your computer blows up and your car needs a service and it comes back worse than when it went in and that sort of thing. It's not like that at all. It's much more, because Jupiter's a philosophical planet, it's much more, it's easier to integrate Jupiter and his retrograde motion. So striving for material goals when Jupiter is retrograde, it doesn't really work, because what Jupiter wants, well, basically when we strive for material goals and while Jupiter is retrograde, we can end up feeling unsatisfied and unfulfilled because we want something of more substance than just, you know, material success when Jupiter is retrograde. Jupiter retrograde wants us to have wisdom and knowledge. It wants internal abundance, philosophical insight, and growth at an internal level. That's what Jupiter is desiring for us when he's retrograde, and they're great things to embrace during Jupiter retrograde. Doing introspection, growing your wisdom, growing your knowledge, looking for the riches of your character, developing the riches of your character and the abundance within through studying philosophy or any type of higher learning, you know, studying astrology, that's a higher learning, studying wisdom, reading spiritual books, connecting with, you know, gurus and those sorts of people who can inspire us and uplift us. These are the sort of things Jupiter is desiring more when he is retrograde, and not so much the outer manifestation. So if we're striving to get that, you know, reach that $1 million mark or whatever it happens to be that you're striving for, you can be empty if you achieve, you can end up feeling empty if you achieve that, because you haven't been working on the internal, you've been focusing on the external abundance, because Jupiter is abundance. So when he's retro, he wants us to focus on our internal abundance, our internal growth, our internal prosperity, not so much the outer. The outer abundance and prosperity striving will just leave us feeling hollow in the end. Nice though it is, it's still not as fulfilling as growing our internal selves. So it's better during Jupiter retrograde to focus on your faith, to focus on your beliefs. You evaluate what belief systems you have, and do they hold water, and are they, you know, realistic for you and your life, and how life is working for you and playing out for you. Look for inner meaning, look at your moral values. You know, do you align with your current moral values? Do some assessment, do some, you know, some prayer, and like I said, read spiritual books and connect with uplifting gurus who can help you, I guess, reconfigure and realign where your moral imperative is at the moment, your moral values and your meaning and motivation for life. It's very much an internal focus. So this whole period that Jupiter has been retrograde has been a time to evaluate and redefine all of these things in our lives. So it's been a very valuable time. And of course, Jupiter retrogrades roughly once a year. So we have this period, this season once a year of Jupiter retrograde, where we get to explore internally and reassess and reset and reconfigure what our internal value system actually is. So it's a very valuable process that we kind of go through annually, and feeling into that energy is a really healthy thing to do. So when he goes direct, retrograde is an emotional and faith and moral reset for us. Now, especially when this is happening in the sign of Sagittarius, which is this year. Now, Jupiter is once every 12 years, Jupiter will be in the sign of Sagittarius. So currently this emotional reset in Sagittarius has us focusing very much on the future. Because if you think about the archetype of Sagittarius, it's the archer. The archer with his arrow, you know, ready to go, looking ahead, riding forward into the future. and it's very much future oriented. So in correlation with the archetype, Sagittarius, Jupiter in Sagittarius is about this faith and directional reset that has to do with where we want to be, where I want to go, where I'm heading towards. It's looking to the future. It's not visionary in the same way as Aquarius is, but it's still very future oriented and looking ahead. So we're resetting ourselves for the future. So once Jupiter goes direct, well, the energy shifts externally again. So we are, we're outwardly able to manifest more opportunities that come our way. We see more of our beliefs playing out in our sphere of action. And we get more external optimism with whatever Jupiter rules in our chart. So this is what is going to happen on the 12th of August when Jupiter goes direct. The energy will shift to be more like this. Your prosperity can begin to flow in a material way again. So that is going to be a big relief for some. It's going to be like Christmas morning. Phew, here it is at last, all my presents. Or it can just be like, oh, now I feel better. Like if you've got Jupiter going direct natally in your chart, you're going to be more familiar with the direct energy of Jupiter than the retrograde energy of Jupiter. So you're going to align more with Jupiter when he's direct by transit. So you're going to feel more materially prosperous, like you're more confident, more optimistic about your material circumstances. If you're anything like me, I've got 3 kids to feed and a mortgage to pay and blah, 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 blah. And so, you're worried about how am I going to make ends meet. And then Jupiter goes direct and it's like, oh, everything's going to be fine. I know the universe has got my back. It's all okay. The worrying kind of ceases and you start to trust in what's happening outwardly in your life in a material sense. So the biggest change though that happens when Jupiter goes direct is actually more connected to our personal expansion. So I'll explain kind of what that looks like. I asked Jupiter, and I do this fairly regularly actually before my readings that I give to people and also before my videos and the other things that I do on social media. But I asked Jupiter what his message for this week was for people. And he replied, I mean, it sounds a bit kooky and a bit woo-woo to some people, but I believe we are all energetic beings and we connect energetically with other beings, with plants, with animals, with the water, with the earth, and also with the stars. So I asked Jupiter, what is the message that he wants people to hear this week? And his response was actually focused me on one of my very favorite phrases that empowers me time and time and time again. And this message was, I'll quote it to you, this phrase is, I expand to meet my destiny. Very much connected to the energy of Jupiter turning direct in the sign of Sagittarius. All about that forward looking, that forward focus, all about expansion of the self. Not just the material realm in our life, but the expansion of the self. So I want to ask you some questions. Are you feeling afraid of the opportunities that might be presenting themselves in your life? Maybe you've got the chance to, maybe you're a writer or an author or a poet or a musician, and you've got the chance to really put your work out there in some way, but you're kind of petrified. What will people say? What will people think? I can't do that. Yikes. Do you think you can handle a promotion that is being presented to you, or are you feeling overwhelmed, like I can't do that? I haven't got enough experience. I haven't got enough knowledge. I haven't, worked up enough networks with people to be able to move into that role. And you doubt yourself. You have self-doubt. Are you thinking of starting your own business, but you're like, what if I fail? What if I can't do this? What if I don't, meet what I need to do in order to run this business? What if I can't market it properly? What if I can't network well? Maybe you're putting on an exhibition of your artwork, or you're doing a fashion parade or something of some of your clothing designs or something like that, and you're like, this is too much, I'm overwhelmed, I just can't. What if, self-doubt is really, I guess, the bottom line of what I'm saying here. Maybe you're reaching out to organizations or to benefactors who can help you in life and help you achieve more. And you're like, what are they going to, they're going to think I'm stupid with my idea, or they're not going to support me, or I can't approach them because people will laugh at me. And so you don't approach the organization who could help you. Maybe you've written a book and you need to, go to the library and do a promotional library tour, and you're like, I just can't do that. That's, no, that people would laugh, or I'd be too embarrassed, or people would judge me, and you just know. This sort of thing. So approaching organizations or approaching particular benefactors or patrons and things like that, that can support you is just like, no. So you're kind of holding yourself back. You're limiting yourself. You're restricting yourself. I want to ask that of you now. In what ways are you holding yourself back? Are you restricting yourself? Are you keeping yourself small? Are you afraid of the expansion that is possible for you? Do you fear not being able to cope if things should go boom for you? Do you fear being judged? Do you fear being ridiculed? Are all these things holding you back and keeping you small? Well, Jupiter is saying now is the time to expand your energy in order to embrace these things, to expand your energy, to expand your soul, your mind, your heart, your expectations, to expand your expectations of what you can achieve, to expand your limitations. Move those, boundaries out. Move the tent pegs of your life out and create a bigger space for you. Jupiter is asking you to do that right now with his direct motion now. He's asking you to be bigger. He's asking you to be greater. All of us. He's asking us to be more wonderful than we ever thought we could be. Jupiter calls us to this. He's the biggest planet in the solar system, aside from the sun. In fact, he was very nearly almost a sun himself, but he didn't have quite the oomph to get there. He is big. His magnetosphere reaches like, I don't know the exact amount of kilometers into space, but it is phenomenally big. His energy is bigger than than the actual ball of a planet that he is. It just goes from, kilometers and kilometers out into space, almost, I think, into the trajectory of Saturn, to be honest. So there is a point in time with their transits around the sun where Saturn crosses through the magnetosphere of Jupiter. So this is how big he is, how powerful he is. He wants us to expand as well. This is his message to us. So I want to share, and this might seem a little kooky, so, if you're not into this, that's okay, each to their own, but I want to share an expansion exercise with you that may very well help you to feel into this energy that I'm talking about. We start with our arms wide out, okay? So, be crazy, be kooky, follow along with me. Spread your arms out wide. I'll try and avoid my little wheel there. And breathe in deep. Take a deep breath. Expand your lungs and close your eyes. I'm going to leave my eyes open, but you close your eyes and say to yourself, I can expand to meet my destiny. And say that as many times as you need. Deep breath and exhale saying, I can expand to meet my destiny. I expand to meet my destiny. Make this your mantra this week. Whenever you feel small, whenever you feel afraid, whenever you feel overwhelmed by the possibilities or overwhelmed by the limitations, or whenever you feel inhibited in any way this week, remember, deep breath, open your arms wide and say to the universe, I expand to meet my destiny, because you can grow to embrace your fullest potential. And a lot of that comes from changing the attitude within us, changing our energetic output, so to speak, to actually physically visualize ourselves expanding our lungs, expanding our body, expanding by opening your arms, not literally expanding it by eating too much chocolate, expanding your arms, making yourself physically feel bigger, and expanding your mental self, your emotional self, your receptive self as well. So do this visualization. See yourself becoming bigger, becoming able to meet your obligations if you were to succeed. See yourself as being fully capable of handling any new responsibilities that come your way, through suddenly becoming more successful, through being able to implement your dreams, see them come to fulfillment. Imagine and visualize yourself with all the tools at your beck and call to achieve what you want and be as big as you dream of being. By practicing this exercise, when we feel small, we keep ourselves with the expansion of Jupiter. And this is very much what Jupiter wanted me to share this week as we head into Jupiter's direct motion on the 12th of August. So let's talk now individually about what Jupiter is calling us, or what area of life Jupiter is expanding, what area of life he is calling us to grow in, particularly when he goes direct this week. So let's start with Aries, as is usually the case. We know Aries, they get impatient if they can't be dealt with there and then. We love our Aries, and there they are, first up. Okay, so this puts Jupiter in the 9th house. So Jupiter is calling Aries people. When Jupiter goes direct this week, he's calling, if you're an Aries rising person, can also be for the sun sign and the moon sign as well, but he's calling you to expand your mind, to expand your beliefs, to expand your life experience, maybe your adventures, to expand your capacity to understand the world. So you might do this by, now that Jupiter's giving you the momentum when he goes direct, by having more excuse me, more cultural experiences, going for a holiday somewhere, so that you can learn about another culture or another faith system or another belief system. It might be attending a workshop where you look into Chinese astrology or something like that, if that's something you're not aware of, where you really get stuck into some sort of higher learning, some sort of wisdom, some sort of knowledge base that is about expanding you and growing you and your beliefs and your morals and your mind and your sense of adventure and connection with the world, your vision, essentially. So Aries, you have a big task ahead of you to expand into that and embrace these wonderful new opportunities that Jupiter will give you. Taurus rising people. Jupiter, as you can see, will fall for you guys in the 8th house. So Jupiter is calling you to expand and grow 8th house things. This could be very much connected with astrology. Jupiter may, when he goes direct, he might be saying, you actually know a lot about astrology. Let's start using it. 8th house is connected very much to hidden things. That can be astrology or regression work or psychology or psychotherapy, and maybe you have been somebody who has been like, oh, I just don't know enough. I need to read more. I need to do more courses. I need to understand more. And Jupiter says, no. Let's expand this. You can start offering this to people. Or you can start, building your knowledge base in astrology so that you have more capability in this area. Jupiter is wisdom and knowledge. So when he goes direct, he might be calling you to study metaphysics, or do a course in miracles, or study past life regression work or something, or might be calling you to go and study psychology even. So there is an energy with Jupiter wherever he is of studying and learning more, because that's his general nature. But he's also going to expand you into being able to either use these things in your life, maybe start up your own psychology practice, maybe in the 8th house it's connected to other people's money. So he might be saying you can go out on your own and set up your own taxation business or accountancy business or something, and anything to do with 8th house things, which is managing other people's money or occult practices and things like that. He is calling you to grow bigger in that realm, to expand in that realm, and to be more visionary. Sagittarius is visionary, about looking ahead at, well, what can I achieve with this in the future? How can this work for me in the future? How can I utilize this to bless my life in the future? So Jupiter is saying, expand into this. You have what it takes. You really do. Gemini rising people is going to see Jupiter in the 7th house. So Jupiter going direct is calling you to expand and grow 7th house things. Now this can be business partnerships. Let's just say if you're Gemini rising and you might have some sort of a well, Gemini is to write, to communicate. Maybe you've got some sort of book business, or maybe you've got skills of your hands. Maybe you work in the woodworking industry or something like that. And you realize that you would do so much better by partnering with other business partners, getting a marketing consultant in, or a business advisor in, or perhaps collaborating with other people. If you just say you work in the wood industry, and you make beautiful furniture, and you think, what, I should partner with somebody who does metalworking as well, and we could go in joint together and have a bigger offering and a greater offering of what we provide. So it's about partnering, and Jupiter's going to give you or call you to expand your business partnerships, expand the contractual agreements that you might already have, expand and grow your business practice even in connection with other people. Now, it's also got to do with marriage and committed relational partnerships, the 7th house. So Jupiter could very well be calling you when he goes direct in Sagittarius to develop a greater vision for your marriage, and to expand the quality of your marriage. Maybe you've been in a marriage and it's been very dry, especially with Venus invisible at the moment. It's been quite dry. It's been kind of this is just the way it is. And Jupiter says, no, let's expand this, let's grow this, let's expand to meet our destiny. And I want my destiny to be that I am in a loving relationship where we are enamored with one another and we support each other, and it looks like this, and this is how it works. So you get this vision of what it could be, and you decide when Jupiter goes direct, let's expand into this destiny, and you allow it to come to you. Make space in your life for this beautiful potential of relationship and great business partnership to come into your life, to expand and grow you as an individual through partnerships and connections. So for you Gemini rising people, that is what we are looking at. There might be opportunities for you to expand your connections now that Jupiter goes direct. We've got Cancer rising. For Cancer rising, Jupiter is going to be in your 6th house. So Jupiter is going to, when he goes direct, is going to call you to expand and grow anything connected to the 6th house. It might be that you decide, I want to have a pet. I've always wanted to have a pet, but I just didn't think that I could cope with all the responsibility and cleaning up all the mess and la la la. And you know what? I can expand to meet this because I think the benefits would outweigh the work. So I'm going to expand into being able to manage a pet, being able to take it for a walk every night, or clean up after it, or whatever you need to do with a pet. Jupiter wants to expand your potential in the 6th house when he goes direct. So that could look like, you are an employee for somebody, and Jupiter wants to expand your offering as an employee. Your service to the world is seen by the 6th house. 6th house is rituals as well, offering ritual and through love. So it might expand your capacity to do that, and maybe you develop a new ritual. Maybe you decide I am going to increase and grow my ritual practice. My rituals is our daily routines, our health and well-being, the diet that we have, but it can also be our prayer, our meditations, our connection with the universe. That can be through going for a walk every evening and speaking to all the trees and the plants that you encounter. Jupiter wants to expand your connection to ritual. So you might think, oh, that's just, if I make a list of all the things I want to accomplish every day, that's just too much and it's overwhelming. And Jupiter's saying, let's expand this. Let's expand to meet your destiny. Imagine what it could look like if you could accomplish X, Y, Z every single day, and how you would feel and what your world would look like. Imagine that, and let's expand to meet it. So you might now include getting up a half an hour earlier to do a meditation practice, or you might include allowing 20 minutes in the evenings before you go to sleep to do a little bit of reading. You might add this into your daily ritual, your daily practice, to close the end of the day with reading a book or something, because you haven't read anything since high school, and you need to include this, or you want to include this. So Jupiter is all about, for you guys, expanding your daily practice, your rituals, your routines, in order to create a greater vision and create a greater future for yourself. Imagine if you spent 20 minutes every evening reading a bit of a book, like half a chapter of a book every night. Pretty soon you will have burned your way through, you know, say 10 books by the end of the year, and know just that much more. Be that much more grounded and wise through all that you've read and incorporated through that. So that's what Jupiter is really desiring to expand and grow for you guys as Cancer rising. Now for Leo rising, where all the action is unfolding at the moment in Leo, this is going to place, I'll just try and straighten that up. This is going to place the energy of Jupiter's direct motion in the 5th house. So Jupiter is going to expand for you and wants to grow for you your vision around your relationship with children, your relationship with lovers, and your personal creativity. So you might have, for example, you might want to do an art exhibition, and you've been painting and painting and painting just for the sheer joy of it for years, and you have like a warehouse full of artworks, and you're like, I couldn't put those out on display, you know, that's just me, that's part of who I am, and people would laugh. And Jupiter says, it's time to expand into your destiny. Let's put on an exhibition. And you have to embrace, if this is your scenario, you decide, I'm going to have to embrace the fear and just allow myself to be big enough to do this, to put myself out there. So it can be in any sphere that has to do with your creative expression, your artistry, your creative self. This is an area where Jupiter wants to expand you and grow you and help you to be big enough to meet the destiny that awaits you. Also in love, if you happen to be Leo rising or Leo sun or moon, Jupiter may very well wish to expand your love horizons at this time. So Jupiter going direct can bring you, maybe not, you know, a ring on the finger or anything like that, but maybe bring you more opportunities to go on dates with people, to do some fun, pleasurable activities while you get to know men in your life if you're single, or women in your life if you're a single man. Or if you are in a love relationship already, Jupiter might be very well saying, let's expand the quality of this relationship. Let's not get lethargic and sort of la-di-da here. Let's put in some effort and expand this relationship, this love dynamic, to be as beautiful and wonderful as it could possibly be. Let's not just resign ourselves. Let's expand to meet the potential of our destiny. That's the same with your children as well. It's very much about, how can I help my children expand to meet their destiny too? You know, what can I do to support them? Jupiter will be calling you to not give up on your children, to have hope for your children. Jupiter is very much connected to hope and having that optimistic outlook. And Jupiter will be saying, let's expand, let's increase our optimism around our children, our hope around our children. Let's increase our the inspiration we provide to our children. Jupiter is a planet of inspiration, so he may very well be calling you as a parent, if you are one, to find ways to inspire your children to be bigger, better, bolder as a parent yourself when he goes direct. So the 4th house is also correlated to parenting, but when we're talking about our children, you want to inspire your children, especially young kids, to be all that they can be. So lead by example with them. For example, you know, maybe you've got a child who's very interested in science, and you know, I'm going to help my child expand to meet their destiny, and I'm going to lead by example. We're taking a family outing. We're going to see the gemstone exhibition at the museum, or we're going to go and, you know, do something sciencey together, go to the Discovery Center or whatever it is, and you expand to meet your child's dreams and to join hands with them and inspire them in heading towards their destiny. Very, very powerful 5th house energy for Leo rising. Now, if you, oh no, that's the wrong one. I'll get it right. If you happen to be Virgo rising, the energy of Jupiter is falling for you in the 4th house. So this is a little bit similar to 5th house in that it is connected to parenting, and you may very well desire now to grow and expand and help to blossom your connection to family. So rather than sort of the focus on the children and their needs, as we would see in the 5th house, it is now about the family as a unit, as a relationship center, the family, between the husband and the wife, or the two mums or the two dads or whatever it is, and the children, and even the parents and the grandparents and so on, so that everybody connects. Now you're going to want to grow that connection, grow that expansion, grow the sense of a family experience and family dynamic in whatever way you can. Now sometimes families have falling outs and don't speak and what have you, but even if you've got your friends that act as a circle of family for you, this is an area where you will want to grow your sense of connection. It's also correlating to community as well. So the community that you live in, Jupiter might be calling you to expand your connection to the community. Maybe you've been kind of like buried yourself away all winter long, you know, working and just taking care of all the details and what have you. And Jupiter says, now look, hey, you've got to connect with your community. Let's expand this connection. Let's go and, you know, join the local tennis club, or how about we go and join the local astronomy group or whatever, and let's try and expand our connections with community, with family. It's also to do with home, your actual physical home. So Jupiter going direct might be saying, oh, you know what, sick to death of the color of this bathroom, we need to freshen it up, we need to lighten it up, let's expand the quality of this bathroom and make it so much better, or let's add a new room, or let's, you know, renovate somehow. Or he might be saying, let's move. Sagittarius is a mutable sign, which means things change, and so you may very well like to consider moving when Jupiter goes direct. That might come your way. You might think, I don't actually want to connect with this community that I live in, I want a new community. Where is a like-minded community? Where is a community that's just, you know, my same alternative kind of mindset people? Where can I go to connect with people like that? That's certainly frequently in my mind. But for anyone who is Virgo rising, this might be a very big theme. And you're not, Jupiter's saying, don't be afraid. You can expand to do this. Don't be afraid to make the change. Don't be afraid to move. Don't be afraid to renovate. Expand to meet how good things could actually be. It's the optimism of Jupiter. The buoyancy of Jupiter says this can be done, but you have to be big enough and create yourself to be big enough to handle it. And that's what he wants to expand in us. Now, Libra rising. If you are Libra rising, Jupiter is falling in your 3rd house, and this is the area Jupiter wants to expand and grow for you when he turns direct on the 12th of August. And this is the realm of learning, teaching, speaking, writing, communicating. It encompasses almost every industry in Western society these days in some way. Marketing, advertising, small business, money we make with our own endeavors and our own skills and abilities. It's all 3rd house stuff. So, you know, in connection with siblings and relatives as well. So lots of stuff going on for you guys as Libra rising people. Jupiter wants to expand all of this stuff, or maybe just a single area, depending on how much expansion energy is trying to exert here. But let's say you have a small business and you're running your own small business or freelance business or consultancy business or whatever it looks like. You are running a small business, and Jupiter says, time to expand, time to grow. Get ready. When I go direct, you are going to get a ton of new clients. You're going to get just a flood of new orders, or, you know, whatever. And you're like, whoa, hang on, that's a bit like, can I handle this? And Jupiter says, you got to expand for your destiny. Put your arms out, expand your lungs, and say, I expand to meet my destiny. I can be big enough for whatever is coming my way. But you need to mentally get there first, in readiness for when the opportunity arrives, because if you're not ready and it arrives, then you flounder and it all goes and you just miss the chance. So now we've got to, in the week before, expand. Get ready to meet our destiny when Jupiter goes direct. So for you guys, this, like I said, it's small business. It could be some sort of writing engagement or a job, or a speaking engagement. It could be teaching. It could be some sort of opportunity to learn something new as well, where Jupiter is saying you can expand. You are big enough to do this. You just got to get over the mental blocks and the mental hurdles, and you can expand to meet your destiny. All right, Scorpio. Scorpio rising people will see Jupiter in the second house. Now, this is kind of exciting for you guys. Jupiter in the second house wants to expand your sense of self-value and self-worth so that you will ask for what you deserve in life and you will get it. When Jupiter goes direct, he wants you to grow your sense of value. I am worth much more than what they're paying me in this job, or I am worth asking for a pay rise, or I am worth, my value, my sense of value says, you know what, I don't have to work 5 days a week. I can work 3 days a week and I can still be valued and treasured in this job. I'm going to approach my boss and try and negotiate a new deal. You know, so it can take on many guises, but it's about honoring your sense of worth and sense of value in whatever field you work in, or how you operate in relationships, the dynamics you have with your children, or whatever. It's about valuing yourself, and you can expand to meet your destiny in association with what you value yourself and your self-worth. Also, it is connected to the money that we make. So you can expand to make more money, you Scorpio rising people. This is a time when you might get the opportunities coming your way that will bring in more money. And, you know, just say you were doing, I'd say a fashion launch or something. You've got a fashion label, you've been trying to get it off the ground, and you're launching it. And because this is connected to material things, like the clothes we wear and so on. So you've got this fashion label, you're launching it, and it has the potential to really go boom. And you know, give you tons of orders, and there's going to be people in the audience at your fashion launch that are, you know, big buyers for big companies and what have you. It could really go great, and you're petrified. Jupiter says don't buy into that petrified, overwhelmed, scared mindset. Expand to meet your destiny and watch the money come rolling in. Get in the right mindset, get in the right frame of mind from the get-go, so that you can expand to receive that money when it comes in, receive those orders, and know that you can handle whatever you've got what it takes to meet your responsibilities, your obligations. If your brand gets picked up by, you know, some big chain or something like that, there is excitement and potential for Scorpio rising people when Jupiter turns direct in their second house of making money and self-worth and self-value. Sagittarius, it's going to be fun for you guys because Jupiter's in your first house, so everything about your life is going to expand and grow. The way you think about life, the way you survive and thrive in life, the way you care for your body, how healthy your body is. You can expect some real forward momentum now as you expand in every possible way to meet your destiny. So your destiny for Sagittarian people, it will be different depending on the configuration of your individual chart, what your destiny is, what your purpose in life is, what you're here to experience and achieve. It's different, very unique to you. But whatever that destiny is, you are going to be able to expand to meet it now. So just say you have a destiny of, you know what, I would really love to connect more with children. Because Jupiter is children. I would really love to have a greater connection with children. I feel my mission in life is to be like the next Mother Teresa. I want to start an orphanage in India, or, you know, whatever. I want to connect with and help children. Maybe you're really compassionate. You would be too, actually, with Jupiter running through your first house at the moment. And so you have this compassion for humanity in some way. And Jupiter goes direct and he says, you know what? You can do this. You can do this. Don't doubt yourself. Have faith. Have belief. While I'm in your first house, anything is possible. You can expand to meet this destiny. So take the opportunity now. Take action. Look into, let's make this a thing. Let's make this happen. Other ways you might expand to meet your destiny with Jupiter in the first house, I mean, it can be anything to do with your health of the body. So you might say, you know what, I I really want to take better care of my body. I've been sort of drinking too much, or I'm not exercising enough, and just things have got out of hand. So I'm going to expand my capability now to look after myself. I can expand to meet my destiny. So you will make a book into the gym, and every morning you wake up and say, I can expand to meet my destiny. My destiny is to be a size 8. Right, out of bed and away I go, off to the gym, working out, and you are heading towards your destiny of reshaping your body if that's what you want. So it can work in nearly any arena of life for you Sagittarian people. Your body, your mind, your soul, your offering to the world, how you show up in the world, how the world perceives you. Any of these areas can be really energized when Jupiter goes direct as you expand to meet whatever destiny it is you want to achieve. Very exciting. Okay, Capricorn rising people. If you are Capricorn rising people, you can expand to meet your destiny regarding 12th house matters, because that's where Jupiter is turning direct for you. So this can look like, being able to connect spiritually. Maybe you have longed, you've succeeded very well in life. You've got all the material stuff happening, and you've got the high-paying job and the respect and the authority that Capricorn people love. You've got it all happening, but you're feeling like, you know what, my spiritual life is a little bit dry, and I just feel like I've become disconnected with the divine. So Jupiter going direct it says to you, you know what, you can expand to embrace this now. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be either or. You can have both the material realm and the spiritual realm. So let's expand this. So Jupiter might be saying, book into that yoga retreat. Go and do that meditation course that you've been thinking you might do. Learn to meditate, or learn to be a psychic, or learn to do some sort of channeling of divine energies or something, with the 12th house playing out with Jupiter going direct there. So Jupiter says you can do this. You can expand to be more than you already are in a spiritual sense. Jupiter in the 12th house. He might also be calling you to travel overseas. When Jupiter goes direct, he might say, you know what, you need to do a trip. And not a trip that's for business. A trip that's a holiday. It's high time you had a holiday, you Capricorn rising people. Jupiter going direct will say, you know what, you can do this. You can take time out. You can take a holiday. Doesn't have to be expensive, but 12th house is escaping ordinary reality, taking a break, realigning ourselves with spirit. And we can do that by, pitching a tent down, 100 k's from home at the local forest. Go and escape, have a holiday, have a break. Overseas is also good, because 12th house is connected to going overseas. So I'd encourage that as well. But taking a holiday, taking a break, reconnecting with self is very, very important when Jupiter goes direct, and he's saying you're big enough to do this. You don't need to worry that things are going to be out of control if you're not around. You can take time out. It is better for you to do that. Expand to meet this destiny of connecting with the divine. Jupiter in Sagittarius for Capricorn rising people. Not only that, but it's expanding to embrace your creativity, expanding to connect with your spiritual downloads. So that can be, receiving information from the divine that's, divinely inspired, just say, writing a song or a poem, or doing some sort of a short film or something that's just coming from outside of you. You're like, I feel like I'm just the instrument here putting this together. Jupiter wants to expand that capacity for you to do that right now when he goes direct. So you might find you're getting all these inspirations now. You're getting all these fantasies, these daydreams, these visions. You're getting all these night dreams. Have a book by your bed with a pen and write them all down. And don't ignore them. Jupiter's saying when these things happen, this is giving you opportunity to expand into your destiny. You have a night dream, and it's like, wow, this is really directing me to do a film about whatever it was you dreamt about. And instead of just letting it go, you're like, you know what? I'm going to listen to Jupiter. I can expand my destiny to incorporate this kind of creativity. So you make a film and you start, doing some sort of a, looking for actors and what have you. Now, I'm not saying you're going to be, MGM or Warner Brothers or, you can tell I only watch old movies, anything like that. But, I went to a film exhibition the other day by a young Year 11 student in this town where I live. It was mind-blowingly wonderful. It was hilarious and funny and kooky and left of center. Brilliant. So, we're not talking large scale here, but we need to allow space for the universe to put its creative flow through us and allow us to be the instrument of creativity in this case. So this is what Jupiter is calling you Capricorn rising people to do. Get in touch with your creative essence. Get in touch with yourself. Take a break. Take a holiday. Big ask for you guys for Capricorn rising, and certainly for some of you it will be a very big shift in direction, but Jupiter's saying you're big enough to do this. You really do have what it takes to embrace this component of your life. Okay, Aquarius rising people. When Jupiter goes direct, he is going to be influencing your 11th house, which is, of course, the house that you correlate with, being Aquarius. Aquarius is very much connected to the 11th house. So Jupiter might be saying, you need to, this is a time to expand and to grow your friendship circles. So maybe you've been working really hard. Maybe you have been, on a holiday, a long way away from all your mates. And now Jupiter says when he goes direct, let's invest in our friends. Let's expand our friendship group. You might think, well, hey, I've got enough friends. I don't need any more. Jupiter says, well, you know what? Your networks can be bigger. Your connections can be bigger. Let's expand and connect with gurus and mentors as well, inspirational figures. Jupiter is that kind of person. So you're going to get the opportunity to connect with inspiring people, mentors, people who are kind of up there for you. So this is a good opportunity that Jupiter will bring when he goes direct for that to happen. Also to expand your capacity to receive rewards and gains. Now this is an Upachaya house that gets better with age. So the older you are experiencing this, the more blessing can actually flow as a result of your skills and abilities and the hard work you've done in life. When Jupiter goes direct, watch out. You're going to, not in a bad way, in a good way, watch how the universe floods in to give you the results of the hard work you've done, to give you the payout, your dividend, your dues. That's the 11th house. So for Aquarius rising people, this can be a very beneficial time when Jupiter says, hey, you know what? You're big enough. You deserve. You are worthy of receiving. So get ready, because here it will come. The chance to, finally get that check from the the real estate agent for the sale of your house, to finally get the, let's think, the publishing contract that you've always been hanging for, or to finally get all those YouTube subscribers that you've been striving for. Now it can really come your way. The rewards for all the work that you've been putting in is about to come to you when Jupiter goes powerfully direct and says, you know what, you can expand to move more into your destiny now. Believe it. Start with the mental, this week as you prepare for him going direct, start with the mental framework of expanding your mind and believing that you have the capacity to enter your destiny, and watch how Jupiter comes in with the goods when he goes direct. So friendships is your theme, and also rewards, gains, achievements, just desserts, so to speak, for the efforts and the energy you've put into your life. Pisces. Pisces is ruled by Jupiter. So this has been quite a stellar year for Sagittarius people, because Jupiter rules Sagittarius, but also for Pisces people, because Jupiter is a ruler traditionally of Pisces, and Jupiter has been in their 10th house. And this is powerful. So it's a powerful year for Pisces people too. And so we can expect when Jupiter goes direct in Sagittarius, we can expect that suddenly things start to move forward career-wise for us. This is where, as Pisces people, we can expand to meet our destiny. Maybe you've had career aspirations of you know, you wanted to get a part in a certain play or something, or you went for a, you know, film role in a local TV ad or something like that, or some sort of a, you know, even big commercial film or whatever. Pisces is film. And you've had this aspiration. This is what I want. I want my career to move in this direction or that direction. And then it's like, I feel like things are stuck. Things are blocked right now. Oh, I'm starting to lose faith that I can really do this. Am I cut out for this? Is this the best for me? Maybe I should just go and get a job at, you know, the local service station pumping gas or something, you know. And Pisces would rule that too. But you know, maybe I just need to give up on my career aspirations, my goals and my dreams, and just, you know, get down with the level reality of life. And Jupiter says, hang in there. It's Christmas Eve. Hang in there. If you're feeling like, oh, I just can't do this anymore, you've only got a few days left, and start doing that practice. I expand to meet my destiny. I am big enough for this. I don't need to doubt myself. I can embrace whatever this career destiny is for you. And then Jupiter goes direct, and bang, you get offered that film role, or bang, you get whatever it is that you're aspiring to achieve, that you get that independent income for a book you've self-published, or, you know, you're able to open up that childcare center that you've always dreamed of having, and suddenly it all moves forward. You've been working for whatever career goal, whatever legacy it is that you want to leave the world, and suddenly Jupiter goes direct, and it's like rocket launch. Things start happening, and this can happen very strongly for you, Pisces people, because Jupiter is your ruling planet. So just like it's exciting for Sagittarius people to see Jupiter go direct in their sign, it's also exciting for Pisces people, because you can really start to rise into your destiny now, and the legacy that you want to achieve, the aspirations that you have, can really manifest. So prepare your mind right now, prepare your soul and your heart to be ready for this growth when it happens on when Jupiter turns direct. Get expanded inside, ready for the expansion on the outside for you Pisces people. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm very excited for it. I mean, I have imaginations, as most Pisces people do, of what it might bring me and what it could look like, and how I'd like it to work for me. But I'll also be looking for any subtle little ways that it plays out for me in my career as an astrologer, on the internet and so forth, and waiting to see what Jupiter brings me when he goes direct. Very exciting. It's like Christmas Eve right now. Ooh, can't wait. So thank you so much for joining me for this Astro Weather Report. It has been fun to explore such a delightful, joyous energy like this one with Jupiter. Let me close with a little prayer. Energy of Jupiter, thank you that you have our highest good in mind, and you want us to live abundantly and with prosperity in our soul and our hearts and our minds, to live optimistically. And we invite that energy of blessing, of optimism, of abundance into our heart, into our spirit, into our mind as we prepare for your direct motion. Thank you so much for the energy of love that is out there for us in the universe. Help us to work with these energies in the highest capacity to bless humanity and other people in a compassionate way, just as you call us to, because you are the planet connected with compassion. Thank you so much for your love and the energy that surrounds us at this time. And so it is.